Hey, what's up everybody? Travis and I here at Spellbound Magic Shop and Theater in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, located at 41st and Marion Road. Today's magic review is Impossible by Hank. So I was very excited about this when I first seen the trailer for it, the demo reel, whatever you want to call it. I didn't think it was going to be as easy as it is. Honestly, I had a couple ideas on how the effect worked, and if you're a magician and you have a couple ideas about what you think it could be, 90% of you are probably correct. So if you haven't watched the video for this, definitely look up Impossible Magic Trick by Hank. This is a prediction trick. It's very similar to kind of a ESP card style trick. Now, if you guys don't know what the ESP cards are, I do have some here, but they're the they're the classic cards that have the square, circle, triangle, plus sign, wavy lines, star, whatever it might be. So it feels very similar to that, almost like an ESP card prediction. Basically, you and the spectator get 5 cards, and through a series of moves, they eventually match. Now, the thing I like about this is it's very direct. It's very straightforward and it's very easy. Most of those ESP card tricks have different forces you have to do, or certain counts or certain shuffles, cuts, stuff like that in order to get it in the proper arrangement. One of my favorite ones that you can perform is actually called Unfazed by Ben Blau, but that is a very lengthy routine. Eugene Berger showed it to me a couple of years ago, just before he passed, and it was... It blew my mind. It had so many moves, it was impossible to backtrack the method, which made it more unbelievable. But at the same time, you have to be in a situation where you can perform something like that. And not everybody's in that position. So the nice thing about Impossible is there's almost no moves. When I say no moves, I mean there's no forcing, there's no counts, there's no special shuffles, anything like that. It's just really audience or crowd management. The presentation he gives is very straightforward. The idea is that you lay down a card first, and this is different than most routines, to where, and he says it in the video, in the tutorial, and I believe he's correct, if not being a little generous with it, or modest, I should say. He's saying about 80% of the time, the first card that you lay down and the spectator lays down is going to match. Now, that means that each of you shuffle cards. You lay down one first, the spectator lays down one, and you instantly turn them over and they match. There's no funny moves, there's no switches, there's no transfers, no forces. I would say it's probably going to be in the 90 percentile that they're going to match, because obviously the presentation, the verbiage, the way you kind of guide your spectator, that's going to matter. But really, they can truly shuffle the cards before they do this part. And once they shuffle, you don't take them back, you don't switch them, and that's it. They lay down literally any card they want. But if it doesn't hit, of course, there's a really, really clean way out of it to where it does appear to match in the same fashion. With that being said, the next phase is they lay down a card first, and this is just the routine that he provides. You can do anything that you want with them and be pretty phenomenal. After that, the spectator lays down a card first, and you follow it up, and they match. And then each of you discard 2 cards. The final cards match, or the third card matches. And this is where it can be fun. Each of you have 2 cards left. You can do it one-on-one with the spectator, or if there's somebody else sitting by, you can hand your 2 cards to somebody else and let them choose what they do. Again, there's no forces, there's no switches. You can tell them to mix up the cards, whatever they want in front of them. And that's it. They're going to turn them over and they're going to match orientation. They're going to line up. So if you're not sure what the cards are, let me show you now. The backs are really cool. They have a few colored dots on them, which makes perfect sense, because this is what you get. Right there. So you get 5 different colors. You go yellow, green, orange, red, and blue. Now, admittedly, this color pattern looks suspicious to me. the very first time. And I thought that this color pattern was a marking system, so you knew exactly what it was. It's not. That color pattern is identical on all the cards. The spectators can look at as much as they want, and those colored checkers there, whatever you want to call them, does not make a marking pattern. It's just strictly there for looks. Now, in my opinion, I wish they would have just gone a plain back on this. Knowing the routine, I understand why they didn't. I just wish it would have maybe been a little bit more simpler in design. Even a solid color may have worked. But with that said, it's still an amazing trick. This does not take away from it at all. I think the benefit to it is the spectator can look at those colors and they will never find anything, because there truly is nothing to find. So each of you guys, you and the spectator, get 5 of these cards, and they do match. So here's the same ones here. And literally you just lay them down and they line up. The other thing about these is the backs of the cards, the package you get, has a QR code. Now I'm going to slightly cover that with my finger. It does have a QR code. This was the instant downfall for me because I wanted to open them up and look at the cards. But this is a nice little fun envelope to keep your packet in. However, if you open it the way that this envelope should, you're going to tear right through that QR code. And the QR code is important to keep because those are your instructions. Now, admittedly, once you know the routine, you will probably never need that QR code again, or at least know the method, because it's that simple. I would say anybody can perform this, recommended ages 8 and up, just to be on the safe side, because I think to make it believable and fun for your audience, a little bit of presentation is needed. Now, again, the presentation, you can focus on 100% because the cards do 90% of the work for you. So if you were into packet tricks and you're looking for something fun to keep with you, and or you're a mentalist, and this here could even translate on stage. Once you understand this method and the principles behind it, you could probably DIY a larger version for stage and be just as effective, which is really, really neat. But this principle here it's nothing new. It's been around a long time, and it's something you guys are all probably very, very familiar with and have utilized this method in other styles of routines or performances. But the thing I like about this is the value, I believe, is well worth it just for the routine or presentation that this comes with, the quality of the cards, and just how simple and unique the design is. There's no chance of mistaking that your cards are going to match with the audience. And that's what I love. So price point on this is $15 overall. Quality of the cards and packaging, everything, I'm going to say probably around a 7. I give this a 7 out of 10 just because the cards themselves are great. I don't think they're ever really going to wear out on you as long as you maintain and take care of your cards, just like anything else. I mean, anything will fall apart if you don't take care of it. The back design I'm not a fan of, and of course the QR code I'm not a fan of being right on the seam. Other than those two things, quality, packaging, design, everything is great. I love the simplicity of this. It can work for anybody. It's not for adults, it's not for kids, it's for everybody. It's not numbers, it's not pictures, it's colors. So everybody can associate with this. Even if they can't read, it works across the board for, every demographic out there. So that is great. No language barriers or anything with performing this routine. The routine itself, I give it probably an 8 out of 10, just because the method is obvious once you watch the video, and the routine he teaches is very simple, and it's gonna, once you learn it, you're gonna kind of slap yourself on the forehead because it's gonna be something that you know and you're familiar with already. But the tutorial, the routine that it comes with, is very important to learn and to watch, because with mentalism, as everybody knows, the verbiage that you use is very, very important, and this teaches it great. The tutorial is awesome. It's YouTube, it's a QR code. All you have to do is shine your phone at it with the camera. It picks it up, you touch it, you watch the video. Obviously, Hank, for those of you who know, is Asian, so there's a little bit of a accent there when he speaks. Fortunately, there's subtitles on there, so if you don't quite understand what he's saying, the subtitles are there, but it's very, very easy to read and understand and follow along with. And plus, this trick here is really designed for anybody, and anybody can perform it. So I highly recommend you pick this one up. It's fairly new within the last couple weeks from the time I'm posting this video. So if you're looking for a cool packet trick mentalism prediction that works for any race, any gender, any demographic, I definitely recommend Impossible by Hank.